So Lamin A is a very interesting gene. It's a gene that encodes a protein that is part of the skeleton of the cell nucleus, and every cell has a cell nucleus. So usually when there's a mutation in a gene, you get a disease, and one gene is associated with one disease or maybe two. In case of Lamin A gene, you get a different mutation at different spots. Each mutation causes a different disease, completely different disease, and this is a very interesting field of study. It's called, they are all referred to under the umbrella of laminopathies. And we actually have very little idea why it is this way. So the mutation hits one amino acid, you get Dunnigan variety, familial partial lipodystrophy. It hits another, you get generalized lipodystrophy. Hits another, you get Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, and there is no explanation to why. Dunnigan is a physician from Scotland. He described the first case of familial partial lipodystrophy associated with Lamin A mutation. Back then, they did not know it was a Lamin A mutation. They didn't have the tools that we have now. He did a very accurate description of a family in whom there were several members affected with this peculiar fat distribution associated with metabolic disease, and he wrote a paper about it. In fact, a couple of years before, this is in the 70s, he did this in the 70s. A couple of years before him, a physician in Germany named Köberling, Dr. Köberling, he described a very similar condition, but there was one difference. The difference was the fat in the abdomen. So the patients that Dr. Köberling had described had abundant fat in the abdomen. The patients that Dr. Dunnigan had described did not have any fat in the abdomen. Right now, we don't know of any gene that is causing the phenotype that Dr. Köberling had described, but the one that Dr. Dunnigan had described, we know is associated with mutations in the Lamin A gene, and we know that whenever we see the same pattern, we look at the Lamin A gene and it's almost always there.